All right, let's talk about something that almost everyone deals with at some point: pimples. It can be super confusing, right? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We've got an expert-backed plan from dermatologist Dr. Rashmi Shetty that's going to help you finally understand what's going on with your skin and actually manage it. So, let's dive in.
First things first, let's just take a breath and absorb this message. I mean, acne is so frustrating, and it can totally tank your confidence. But it's so important to remember that it's just a skin condition. It's treatable, and it's not a reflection of who you are. So let's approach this with knowledge, not stress.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off by just establishing that, yes, pimples are normal. Then, we're going to bust some major myths. After that, we'll get into the real science of what's causing them, see what the pros do, and then the best part. We'll wrap up with a straightforward, actionable plan you can start using right away.
Okay, let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. Getting pimples is completely 100% normal. You know, our genetics, the climate we live in, our modern lifestyles, all of it plays a huge part. So if you're dealing with breakouts, believe me, you are not alone. This is a super common experience, and the good news is it's totally solvable.
Now, for one of my favorite parts, myth-busting. There is so much bad advice floating around out there, especially on the internet. So we're going to tackle some of the biggest mistakes people make and debunk a few of the most damaging myths.
This is a classic, isn't it? We've all been there. You get a massive pimple the night before a big day, and you're desperate. You just want it gone. So you reach for something in the house that you've heard will dry it out super fast. But is that really a good idea?
Yeah, the reality is a big, flashing no. Dr. Shetty is really clear on this. Things like toothpaste and lemon juice are way too harsh for your face. They can literally burn your skin. And what does that lead to? More redness, more inflammation, and maybe even a permanent scar. So the lesson here is simple. Let's keep the kitchen ingredients in the kitchen.
Okay, now this one seems to make sense on the surface, doesn't it? If your skin already feels oily, why on earth would you want to add more moisture to it? It just feels like you'd be feeding the fire, making everything greasier and worse.
Well, here's what's really going on. It's actually pretty counterintuitive. When you use harsh cleansers that strip your skin and then you skip the moisturizer, your skin kind of freaks out. It thinks, whoa, all my natural oil is gone. So its defense mechanism is to go into overdrive and pump out even more oil to compensate. It's a vicious cycle. The only way to break it is to use a light, water-based moisturizer. That tells your skin, hey, it's okay. You can calm down now. Okay, so we know what not to do. Now let's really get to the core of the problem. What is actually causing these pimples to show up in the first place? Well, a lot of the time, it really boils down to one thing: inflammation happening inside your body.
So a major driver of this inflammation is something called oxidative stress. And I love Dr. Shetty's analogy for this. She says to think of it like an unruly child running around inside your body. You see, all our normal body processes, like even just breathing, create these little byproducts. But when we add in things like pollution, a lot of stress, and a not-so-great diet, the system gets overloaded. These byproducts start causing chaos, and that chaos shows up as inflammation, which for a lot of us appears right on our skin as acne.
And here are the usual suspects that make that unruly child even wilder. A diet high in sugar. Yep, certain types of protein powders can do it too. Of course, there's chronic stress and not getting enough sleep. Pollution is a big one. But check out that one near the bottom. An unclean or oily scalp. This is a huge one that so many people miss.
It's easy to forget, but your scalp is skin too, and it's loaded with oil glands. Dandruff is basically a yeast that loves to feed on all that oil. And that lovely combination of yeast and oil can easily travel down your face to your forehead or onto your back and shoulders, clogging pores and causing pimples everywhere. So yeah, keeping your scalp clean isn't just about your hair. It's absolutely a non-negotiable for clear skin.
So how do you actually get dandruff under control? Dr. Shetty has this super specific, super actionable advice. To really truly break that dandruff cycle, you've got to use an anti-dandruff shampoo every single day for 21 days straight. That's the magic number. Just using it once or twice a week when you feel like it, it's just not going to be enough to get that yeast population back in check.
Okay, so let's say you've cleaned up your diet, you're managing stress, and your scalp is spotless, but you're still breaking out. What then? Well, that's when it's time to call in the professionals. Let's take a look at what a dermatologist can bring to the table.
Yeah, the experts have a serious toolkit. Got a huge painful pimple right before a wedding? A quick cortisone shot can shrink it in like
a day. Chemical peels are great for quickly reducing overall acne. They can also do professional extractions to safely clear out clogged pores. And most importantly, they can figure out if there's an underlying hormonal issue that's driving all of this.
And this is so key. Diagnosing hormones is a job for a doctor, not for Google. A dermatologist can look at the type of acne you have and where it is to get clues, but to get a real, accurate diagnosis, they need to run blood tests. And not just any blood test. They have to be timed to very specific days of your menstrual cycle. Just guessing or getting tested on a random day is a total waste of time and money. Bottom line, if you think hormones are the culprit, go see a doctor.
All right, we have covered so much ground. The myths, the causes, the pro-treatments. Now, let's bring it all home. This is the final and maybe most important section, a simple, effective action plan that you can use to really take back control of your skin.
You know, the entire expert approach can really be boiled down to this simple three-part philosophy. First, you cleanse. The goal is to get rid of dirt and oil without totally stripping your skin. Second, you nourish. That means supporting your skin from the inside with good food and from the outside with the right moisturizer. And third, you protect. Defend it from the sun, and maybe even more crucial, protect it from your own fingers.
Okay, here it is, your 4-step plan. Pen and paper ready? Step 1, cleanse correctly. That means washing your face 2, maybe 3 times a day. Your skin should feel clean, but not all tight and squeaky, you know? Step 2, nourish, inside and out. Always use a light moisturizer and try to cut back on sugar and processed foods. Step 3, protect your skin. Sunscreen every single day is non-negotiable. And the #1 threat to keep away? Your own fingers. Don't touch. And finally, step 4, consult an expert. Look, if you're doing all of this consistently and you're still not getting results, a dermatologist is your best friend.
And as you get started on this plan, please remember this fantastic piece of advice. You have to be patient. Your skin needs time to heal and rebalance. Slathering on more cream isn't a fast-forward button. In fact, it'll probably just make things worse by causing more irritation. When it comes to skincare, consistency always beats quantity.
So, we're going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if we stopped looking at pimples as just an annoying surface-level problem? What if we saw them as a messenger? Because really, our skin is often just a mirror, reflecting what's going on with our internal health, our stress levels, our diet, our hormones. So the real question isn't just how to get rid of a pimple, it's what is your skin trying to tell you?